witnessing history right here. Um, we are gonna name a new king, King Charles. But like I said yesterday, after the Queen passed, rest in peace to Queen Elizabeth. It's over for these monarchs. It's almost like the Pope thing. The last real Pope was John Pope II. After that, they all lost some clout. As the kids would say, because it's a different generation, man. Nobody's into no goddamn kings, you know. We're in our phones, you know. We're not. It's not the '90s anymore. So this is just a formality. I don't think this king will have the impact on the world stage that the Queen Elizabeth had. Um, so we have to watch this. This doesn't interest me too much because this is just tradition. Like I said, formality. But we're gonna look into a little bit of King Charles history, and that's how we'll honor this.
Himself as a people's king.
James Homan, let's talk about the expectations that are on Charles in this moment and beyond. I mean, one of the questions is how much does he look back and reflect on his mother's life and her legacy, and how much does he begin to pivot and turn his head forward?
He has to look.
Oh, that was his mom. I thought that was her. I thought that was like. I mean, yeah, that makes sense. But for some reason, he's so old that I thought that was his wife that died. Um, Jesus, these people live long. He's old as hell.
Look back in this his first speech. He can't just look forward. He needs to mourn his mother, not just his own mom, but also the mother of the Commonwealth. He is descending from a monarchy that is more than 1,000 years old. That's existed since 1066, and
That's insane. That right there is like, I love history, and these people are history. That's why I'm putting attention to this. Um, and to the dissenters, like, I understand why a lot of people would hate the British and, the Queen. I understand all that. But you guys must also understand, England is basically the mother of the society we see today. Everything we see around us, the British has something to do with, you know? So you can look at all the inequalities and all that, and you can blame the British, but you can also look at a lot of the progress, and you can blame the British. All the offshoot nations of Great Britain are great nations. Great Britain is a great nation. All the Magna Cartas around every free country in the world is based on the English Magna Carta. You guys understand what I'm trying to tell you? Slavery isn't free now worldwide because the English decided that it wasn't gonna be. Not for political benefit or anything of the sort. I've studied this. You're not they had a grip like this on the world, and they decided because of religion, we don't want to have slavery anymore, and they lost a lot of money, a lot of blood, So, but they've also done harm, so much harm. I don't go into the harm because the harm is obvious, but I believe that Great Britain and the Queen, that she represents that country, I believe they're just like any other parent. You could blame them for all the bad things you have, but you also have to give them credit for all the good things you have. And if you know your history, you must understand Great Britain is the mother of modern world, no doubt about it, with its flaws and virtues.
A direct descendant of the original Norman conquerors. It's interesting because he's Charles the Third. But he actually, he hopes that he has a better go of it than the previous two King Charleses. He could have chosen any of his four.
You think this guy has one has one friend in the hip hop community? I'm sure he's got black friends, but I mean some ghetto ass dude that listens to drill music. I don't think so. He ain't Trump. Trump fucks with Kodak Black and Little Baby. And Lil Wayne and Kanye, you feel me? This nigga ain't that type of dude. You could tell just by looking at this dude.
Names to be his official king title. He could have been King Charles, King Philip, King Anthony, King Arthur, or King George, but he went with Charles. Charles the First was, of course, caught up in the English Civil War and beheaded by Oliver Cromwell. didn't end well. He was born in Scotland in 1600. What happened was that he married a Catholic girl, and that upset Parliament quite a bit. They booted the king from England. England descended into civil war. The king was captured, tried for treason, and
Now, if you're wondering why these people look so weak and weird and off-putting, it's because they're inbred.
beheaded. Charles II spent the first decade of his reign in exile. He was 18 when his father was killed. It was a chilly January day in 1649, and
Look at Meghan Markle. Look at the body language. You see how she's like away from the rest of the family? You guys see that? You guys see that? And you see how she's just like not acknowledging that side. And she, like, it's fucking crazy, but pay attention to pictures, guys. Pay attention to fucking pictures. There's a disconnect between these three and those two. It almost looks like a Photoshop picture. And it's not.
Charles I asked for an extra shirt because he didn't want to be seen as shivering.
Oof. Oof. Every man in the world that's got some testosterone has imagined himself wearing one of those badass outfits with all those chains and shit. And if I say you die, you die. Oh, man. It's good to be the king.
In the cold, lest his subjects think he was shivering in fear. Anyway, then Charles II took over when he was 30 years old, and he definitely held a grudge. He had Oliver Cromwell dug up from his grave and beheaded, even though he was already dead. So Charles
The British are fucking ruthless. That happened.
III, who we're seeing there, is a direct descendant of that family, and that history is top of mind for the British. As Hannah was noting earlier, British school children learn all of this. They learn the history. This is who they are. This is part of their national identity. Charles can't escape that.
We're looking now at this slideshow of the life of Prince Charles, now King Charles III. Hannah, his evolution is certainly one that...
That's about it for me. We talked a little bit of shit. We learned a little bit of history. And now we are gone because we are here studying the Empire of America, not British. We fucked those guys up and kicked their ass, baby. 1776, bitches. And I'm out.